The internet's an open market where you can purchase anything you want. Orwell was right. Orwell was wrong. It is not the state that holds all the power. It is us. Some people think the internet is a good thing. What do you think?
Isn't it absolutely brilliant how they were able to take something that leaves you feeling all warm and fuzzy on the one hand, and then makes you feel kind of dirty and degraded on the other hand? At the end of the day, strategically, this was so powerful because AOL was trying to say, we have the world's largest community, and our community is full of diverse, passionate, intelligent, smart individuals, and we're bringing them together and giving them an incentive, a reason to speak and connect and debate and argue and collaborate and create together. In many respects, we all understand status quo. Low interruption. We're not interrupting the status quo. We're being mediocre. We're being complacent. We're being same old. We're doing next year what we did last year. We're basing our media plans for next year on what we did last year. We're basically stuck in complacency. So we all know what this is. We all know what it is to break through the clutter. When we do break through the clutter, I think the next slide is the fireworks display. We create the fireworks display when we break through, when we're truly memorable, when we are famous. Hopefully not famous for 15 seconds, but for 15 years or for an eternity. And we rise up and we break out of the mire. But if we can't activate, if we can't get that talkability, we sink back down to earth. The sky goes dark. The fireworks display concludes, and we go back to going dark on our customers, where there is nothing more than deafening silence. So investor relations, media relations, press relations, blogger relations, advertorial, getting hits in the local newspaper, it's very much focused on working the room, on being at the ground level. But if it isn't able to think big picture, holistically, creatively, on behalf of the brand and be part of that brand's vision and long-term conversations, it will never take off. It is that dodo. Well, the dodo went extinct. It's the ostrich maybe that can run very fast but can't fly. It cannot take off. So here you have the short-lived fireworks display, and here you have the big, fast, clunky bird that can't fly. But when you put these two together, that's when you end up in transformation. That's when we become true change agents once again, through communication and conversation, yin-yang, the best of the old with the best of the new. So the message is somewhat reassuring, which is we all know how to be creative, we know how to break through the clutter, we know how to be compelling and original and distinct and sometimes controversial. Now what we need to do is couple that with the ability to be sticky, to be part of a conversation. Because as long as our campaigns have end dates, they're not integrated. I don't care what you tell me and what you sell to me and how you position to me, how integrated you are. If there is an end date, if you go dark on your customers, it is not integrated. It is a silo. What we do, great ideas, seeds of conversation, have to and should be able to live forever. They're short-lived, we will be short-lived as well. At the same time, you look at the little baby, the box of crayons, right? There are 96 colors in the big box of crayons. Instead of painting and coloring in the red, the yellow, and the blue, the primary colors, television, radio, and print, let's start with these new approaches. Let's experiment. Let's try some of these things that have never been done before. You were showing me a clothing line yesterday, that you guys are experimenting with. This is the kind of stuff. We need to try the stuff that's never been done before. But at the same time, what I find very interesting is this is the child protege, the grand master in the future, playing chess at the age of 6 months. But if we pervert or exploit this young talent, this seed, this spark of life, she'll grow up to be Lindsay Lohan stealing fur coats for a living, or Britney Spears shaving her head. We don't want to exploit the new and the nascent. There is no ROI of innovation short term. It is long term. Transformational change is not a magic bean that you plant and a beanstalk comes up. Conversation is not a magic bean. It is something that needs to take time to be needed and nurtured and committed to and optimized over time. At the same time, we need to also train and protect. We can use our mass media to give the platform, to send this child, to use the metaphor, to a good school, to really invest in the career and the future of the child. So on the one hand, we shouldn't exploit and take advantage of it. On the other hand, we must invest in it and make sure that it sees the light of day, that it has the fence around the seed, or has the scarecrow to allow the crows not to attack the little seedling as it grows. And I know I'm mixing metaphors, so choose the metaphor that you prefer better. The Lindsay Lohan Grandmaster Child, in the heart or in the eye, close to the eye of the storm. That's how we understand change. All the advertising in the world becomes completely evaporates. It disappears when there is a bad customer experience. Delta's entire campaign right now is about change. So don't talk to a change agent about change if you're not going to actually back it up. So I had a bad experience with Delta. They downgraded me from a business class flight to a coach flight on a 10-hour flight to Sao Paulo. And I called them up and I've engaged in a heated debate with them, and they kind of spoke to me a little bit, but then they lost interest or decided that they were going away because I was an unreasonable customer. And so I created this little thing called Delta Skelter, and one of my readers created their own logo, and again I changed my Facebook logo to Delta, and I wrote a blog post about it, and other people wrote blog posts about it. This one was called I Have a Blog and I'm Not Afraid to Use It. And there were Twitter conversations about Delta Skelter. And in fact, if you go today and you type Delta Business Class Platinum into Google, you'll see Jaffe Juice Delta Skelter. Can you imagine your most valuable business class Platinum customers, your most loyal customers, are now talking about you in this way? So crank up the volume.
When I get to the bottom, I go back to the top of the track. Where I stop and I turn and I go to the right. Till I get to the bottom and I see you again. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you, don't you want me to love you? I'm coming down fast, but I'm miles above you. Well, tell me, come on, tell me the answer. Well, you may be a lover, but you ain't no dancer. Look out! Helter skelter! Helter skelter! Helter skelter! Oh, Lord.
Crazy, huh? Me, I'm crazy. If we're going to avoid problems like Delta Skelter, what is the process? What is the science? What is the strategy associated with conversation? Well, this is a process that I've created that actually shows you how there's influencer outreach, which is how we seed to the innovators, to the conversation innovators, blogger activation, monitoring and optimization, response and responsiveness, ongoing remarketing and maintenance, but also things like contingency planning, scenario planning, crisis communication if it arises, and course correction. How the entire marketing model now is not about a 9-month planning cycle and going and buying media a year in advance at an upfront process, but in fact we're changing by the day and we're changing direction, maybe by the minute, by the hour, by the week, by the month. We are really optimizing our marketing's humanity, humility, and humor.